Good morning. This is our daily lectionary readings for Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. We have three readings: Psalm 78, 17 through 20, and 52 to 55. Once again is our psalm reading. 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 9 through 18 is going to be our Old Testament reading. And then the book of Romans, chapter 11, verses 1 through 6 is going to be our New Testament reading. Today we are going to be in the Message. Let us listen in. Psalm 78. All they did was sin even more, rebel in the desert against the high God. They tried to get their own way with God, clamored for favors, for special attention. They whined like spoiled children. Why can't God give us a decent meal in this desert? Sure, he struck the rock and water flowed. Creeks descended from the rock. But how about some fresh baked bread? How about a nice cut of meat? Then picking up in verse 52. And God, compassionate, forgave the sin, didn't destroy. Over and over he reined in his anger, restrained his considerable wrath. He knew what they were made of. He knew there wasn't much to them. How often in the desert they had spurned him, tried his patience in those wilderness years. Time and again they pushed him to the limit, provoked Israel's holy God. How quickly they forgot what he had done, forgot the day of rescue from the enemy, when he did miracles in Egypt, wonders on the plain of Zon. He turned the river into the streams to blood, not a drop of water fit to drink. He sent flies which ate them alive, and frogs which drove them crazy. He turned their harvest over to caterpillars, everything they had worked for to the locusts. He flattened their grapevines with hail. A killing frost ruined their orchards. He pounded their cattle with hail, left thunderbolts loose on their herds. His anger flared. A wild field firestorm of havoc, an advance guard of disease-carrying angels to clear the ground, preparing the way before him. He didn't spare those people. He left the plague rage throughout their lives. He killed all the Egyptians' firstborn, lustly infants, offspring of Ham's fertility. Then he led his people out like sheep, took his flock safely through the wilderness. He took good care of them. They had nothing to fear. The sea took care of their enemies for good. He brought them into this holy land. This mountain he claimed for his own. He scattered everyone who got in their way. He staked out inheritance for them, the tribe of Israel, all over their place. The Old Testament reading comes from the 1 Kings, chapter 19, verses 9 through 18. He got up, ate, and drank his fill, and set out, nourished by that meal. He walked 40 days and nights, all the way to the mountain of God, to Horeb. When he got there, he crawled into a cave and went to sleep. Then the word of God came to him. So Elijah, what are you doing here? I've been working my heart out for the God of the angel armies, said Elijah. The people of Israel have abandoned your covenant, destroyed the places of worship, and murdered your prophets. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me. Then he was told, go stand on the mountain at attention before God. God will pass by. A hurricane wind ripped through the mountain and shattered the rocks before God. But God wasn't found in the wind. After the wind, an earthquake. But God wasn't in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, fire. But God wasn't in the fire. And after the fire, a gentle and quiet whisper. When Elijah heard the quiet voice, he muffled his face with his great cloak, went to the mouth of the cave, and stood there. A quiet voice asked, So Elijah, now tell me, what are you doing here? Elijah said it again. I've been working my heart out for God, the God of the angel armies, because the people of Israel have abandoned your covenant, destroyed your places of worship, and murdered your prophets. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me. God said, go back the way you came, through the desert to Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael. Make him king over Aram. Then anoint Jehu, son of Nimshi. Make him king over Israel. Finally, anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat, from Abel Melor to succeed you as prophet. Anyone who escapes death by Hazael will be killed by Jehu, and anyone who escapes death by Jehu will be killed by Elisha. Meanwhile, I'm preserving for myself 7,000 souls, the knees that haven't bowed to the god Baal, the mouths that have not yet kissed his image. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of Romans, chapter 11, verses 1 through 6. Does this mean then that God is so fed up with Israel that he'll have nothing to do with them anymore? Hardly. Remember that I, the one writing these things, am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, out of the tribe of Benjamin. You can't get much more Semitic than that. So we're not talking about reputation. God has been too long involved with Israel, has too much invested to simply wash his hands of them. Do you remember that time Elijah was agonizing over the same Israel and cried out in prayer, God, they murdered your prophets, they trashed your altars, I'm the only one left, and now they're after me. And do you remember God's answer? I still have 7,000 who haven't quit, 7,000 who are loyal to the finish. It's the same today. There's a fiercely loyal minority still. Not many, perhaps, but probably more than you think. They're holding on, not because of what they think they're going to get out of it, because they're convinced of God's grace and purpose in choosing them. If they were only thinking of their own immediate self-interest, they would have left long ago. And here ends our readings today.